What's up, guys? This is the Sports Star Brad Walker, and welcome to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. Hopefully, everyone had an outstanding weekend, and welcome to the first day of the week. I know a lot of people regret Mondays, but welcome in, guys. Real quick, guys, we are 2 days shy of Labor Day. 2 days shy of Veterans Day, so make sure you go out there and remember what Veterans Day stands for all of the ones all of the men and women of our armed services that have served. Thank you again to all of the veterans out there for doing what you do. I appreciate it as well. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored, guys, by Arena Eats. Log on to website arenaeats.epp for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app. Pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? I am also, guys, sponsored by B&B Graphics and more. They customize, guys, in tumblers, coffee mugs, t-shirts, vinyls. They also, guys, have a lot of sports stuff and video game stuff also for the holidays. Since we're right around the corner from Christmas, Santa cookie plate, milk for Santa, food for reindeer, plate customs. Guys, get 10% off just for mentioning me when you make your order. They have a group page called B&B Graphics and more, so search on Facebook for that. Talk to Rebecca. She is the one that's in charge. And guys, to place an order, you can either direct message them on Facebook or email them at bnbgraphicsandmore@gmail.com. Again, that email address is bnbgraphicsandmore@gmail.com to place your order. But guys, like I said, a very, very exciting sports weekend. A lot to talk about this evening. I did, guys, do some research, and I hate leaving teams out of my coverage. But this week, I found no new news on the Tampa Bay Rowdies after their USL championship game was canceled because of COVID. So, unfortunately, they have not played. Someone said the other day that why don't they just play the game at a later date? I don't know if that is still in the works or maybe it's just been canceled for good. But it's not. I have no new news, guys, on the Rowdies, so I won't be talking about the Rowdies this evening. And guys, since there has been an NBA starting date, I'm going to talk about the Magic and the Heat as far as the draft and everything moving forward on that. I'm going to start with the Orlando Magic, guys. This is by Philip Rossman Wright. This is how he believes the Orlando Magic can move up in the draft. Remember, guys, they are picking in the middle of the pack. And, again, they are a team that maybe possibly needs to move up within the draft to help that. That would be something that you could see very, very well happening. Let's see what he mentions. How they can do that. The top pick with the Timberwolves, the Magic would send Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier, and the 15th pick, and the Magic would get the first pick in James Johnson. A lot of Magic fans have zeroed in on Golden State Warriors with the second pick and a potential trade partner because the Warriors picking that high seems out of place. Feels like a spot where they could trade a rookie for a veteran to help them regain their perch in the Western Conference. Do not worry. We'll get to the Warriors. But the Timberwolves with the top pick have expressed some interest in a deal too, and they're a bit of a trickier spot. So again, guys, this could be the trade if the Magic move up. Imagine them getting the number one overall pick, which, guys, before I came on here, looks like it's going to be LaMelo Ball. So, how cool would that be to have LaMelo Ball here in Orlando? That would be pretty awesome if they could move up and make that pick. Make the will be Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Dion Adavada, and Kalai Hayes would be the four guys they could possibly go and get. So that would be something cool to see if the Magic could obviously move up. Again, the pick that I have seen, guys, and since I've been talking about the draft with the Magic, it seems like the obvious choice is to go with the Warriors and that would be to trade Aaron Gordon, Yakovic, Nikola Okudzik, and 15th pick, and the Magic would get the number 2 overall pick and Andrew Wiggins. Now, again, it would be the same kind of picks there at the number 1 pick. But that, I think, would be legitimately more trade, guys, would be that route. Would get more that way if the Warriors, pop in there. I really, if they keep talking about the Magic trading up, so I'm going to venture to say that we most likely are going to see the Magic try to trade up before the draft. Like I said, it would be awesome if they did do that. And I think this pick right here would make more sense to me to move up to number 2 overall and trade with the Golden State Warriors, who would still get the 15th pick, and you're going to get Aaron Gordon, which would help them out immensely as well. So here's a couple more picks that he has with the Charlotte Hornets. They would get Yakovic and Evan Fournier in the 15th pick. The Magic would get a 3rd pick. Nicholas Batum or Cody Zeller would come over in that pick. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that maybe they should make the trade with Jordan and the Hornets? That would be something like that. Again, that would move them up within the first 3 picks of the draft. So that's going to be the interesting part, guys, is how are they going to, how are they going to do that? How are they going to, it's going to be interesting to see if they could pull off a trade, because they really need to do that. Number 4 would be with the Chicago Bulls. They would trade either Aaron Gordon or Evan Fournier, the 15th pick, or the 4th pick, and they would get Otto Porter or Thaddeus Young in return with that pick. So they would move up to number 4 from 15. Chicago would move down in the draft to 15. So, again, that could possibly be something that happened. It's just going to depend. Does a team like the Hornets or the Bulls, want to trade that pick? The Timberwolves have some cap issues. The Warriors, I don't think, are too worried about the number 2 overall pick. They're not going to need the pick when you got guys like Stephen Curry and them coming back. You got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson both coming back from injury over this. With the Hawks, they could trade up to be the 6th pick. They would get Evan Fournier, and then the 6th pick and Dwayne Dedmon would be the player that they would get from the Atlanta Hawks. So that would be something to see them do. That would only move them up 9 picks. Again, I don't know what reality would spell out here for the Orlando Magic trying to make a trade to move up. The number 8 pick would be with the New York Knicks, and again, it would be Evan Fournier, the 15th pick. The Magic would get the 8th pick, Dennis Smith or Kevin Knox or Wayne Ellington would come over from the Knicks. So I know the Knicks have had it pretty bad over the past few years. I don't know if they would want to trade down from the 8th pick to 15. I don't think that would be a very good move in New York. I think the Knicks are trying to get better. I don't know if you're moving down the 15th pick in the draft is going to make it any, I think in that case you want to stay at 8. You wouldn't want to move down to 15. With the 10th pick, the Suns, you get with Aaron Gordon, the 15th pick. The Magic would get the 10th pick and Kelly O'Brien, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So that would be interesting to say the least, too. That would be the 10th pick. You're moving up 5 picks, and the Suns would be moving down 5. So that would be interesting. That's kind of an even deal there for the Phoenix Suns. So that would be interesting to say the least. The 11th pick would be with the Spurs. They would get Patty Mills or Rudy Gay. The Magic would get Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, Terrence Ross, the 15th pick. I think that would be the other way around there. I think that got messed up somehow. I think the 11th pick would go to the Magic, and they would either get Patty Mills or Rudy Gay. The Magic then would, the Spurs then would get Gordon. Yeah, that must have got messed up in the article, guys. Sorry about that. The 12th pick would be the Kings, would be Evan Fournier, Muhammad Bama in the 15th pick. And then in return, they would get Buddy Hield, the 12th pick, and Corey Joseph would come to the Magic. I really, legitimately, then, of course, with the Boston Celtics, it would be Janovic again, the 15th pick, and then Gordon Hayward would come over and the 14th pick. That would be moving up just one pick to trade up with the Boston Celtics. I don't know what that would do. But that's pretty much some of the trades that are going on right now for the Magic in the draft. I could see some of those trades happening, and I'm sure that the Magic are trying to figure that out, before, how we get there and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see how that is seen. So here are some of the mock draft roundup. SB Nation has them taking Aaron Nesmith as their first overall pick. The Ringer has them taking Tyrese Maxey. BleacherReport.com has Aaron Naismith. CBS Sports has them taking Cole Anthony. USA Today has them picking Kyrie Lewis Jr. NBC Sports has them taking Aaron Nesmith. Complex Sports has them taking Tyrese Maxey. And that will pretty much, those are some of the mock picks. I don't know, guys, if they've also offered, if they make a trade. I don't know. I think those are, if the Magic stay at 15, those would be the guys that they could go and try to get. I mean, again, this was a playoff team a year ago, guys, that, again, lost in round one to the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. They won game 1 because, I will say this, back when I was covering the playoffs, and I was like, I came into the week, I'm like, this is probably going to be a sweep. They're probably going to get swept, and lo and behold, no, they did not. They got one game out of it, so that's not really a bad thing for the Magic in that case. All right, guys, let's move on to the Miami Heat. Should Pat Riley's generational view give way to Heat's living in the NBA moment? In the context, Pat Riley shows in the wake of LeBron James leaving the Miami Heat during the 2014 offseason following 4 consecutive trips to the NBA Finals and a championship in 12 and 13. It was Riley that said he was attempting to build with a collaboration of James, Wade, Bosh, and they would attempt to build again. Every so often you have a chance to build a generational team, he said on July 30th, 2014. You're not going to win 10, 12 years in a row. The chain has been broken prematurely. We're trying to make it another generational team. That is what my objective is. So, again, during the offseason, guys, he is looking in to bring in Drew Holiday being available on the trade market. Of course, Giannis leaving for free agency. The Heat could mean going back on to instead go all in during the 2021 offseason, when the free agency class could include Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Victor Oladipo, and James, among others. That would correspond with a generational focus, except it's still a thing. Consider the only repeat NBA championship since the Heat doubled it up in 12 and 13 was the Warriors in 2017 and 2018. Then a year later, Kevin Durant with a chance for his own generational statement with the Warriors departed for the Nets in free agency. And after Leonard won a title in 2019 with the Raptors, he left weeks later for the Los Angeles Clippers. So again, guys, let's see what the Heat do. Of course, they have Alvaro Herrero. Butler obviously is in place. So again, the Heat, they have the guys there. Gordon Dragic is one. Jay Crowder's another one that they have. They could get Bradley Beal. That's definitely, I've heard, that is coming, of course. So we will have to wait and see how that all breaks down with that. Now, here's something that caught my attention earlier yesterday when I was putting my notes together for the show. They're actually in trades to get Russell Westbrook to come to the Miami Heat. Russell Westbrook could be on the move this NBA offseason. The experiment with the Houston Rockets was not successful and could lead to a blockbuster trade. Could this be an opportunity for the Miami Heat to capitalize and pair Jimmy Butler with another star? The Rockets have a new head coach in Steven Silas from the 2021 season. He will implement his own style, and it might not match what Mike D'Antoni. James Harden needed to have the ball in his hand at all times, and it did not work with Westbrook on the floor. Miami Heat are interested in adding another superstar on Jimmy Butler. They have been linked to Giannis, both in trade rumors and free agency come next year. If a deal becomes available, they could pair Westbrook and Jimmy Butler. If the Heat were to find a way to add a star like Westbrook this NBA offseason, they could look to utilize that talent and sign and trade in the future to add a superstar. So Miami would receive Russell Westbrook. The Rockets would get Kendrick Dunn, Duncan Robinson, Andre Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, and the number 20 pick if that trade does go down. I can't see how that would hurt the Miami Heat in any way, guys, because, again, that I think is what kind of hurt them this year in the playoffs, I think, was the fact that they didn't have a superstar to help out Jimmy Butler. So that would be something. If they don't get Giannis, maybe go to Westbrook. That definitely would help them. So, again, if the Rockets take that in return with the trade, we'll have to wait and see how that. But it will definitely benefit both teams, guys. It definitely will benefit the Heat, and it definitely will benefit the Rockets because, like the article said, new head coach, and when you have James Harden who has to have the ball in his hand all the time, it's hard for players like Westbrook who also kind of demand the same thing. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So guys, that is my basketball news for this week. Again, I will talk about the Heat Magic next week as we move closer to the NBA draft. If anything breaks, we will definitely hear it right here. Now we will go ahead, guys, and jump to hockey. I'll start, guys, with the Florida Panthers and how they might be able to make some off-season moves that could help them be in the thick of the 2021 playoff year. Again, we'll have to wait and see if that goes down. Remember, guys, they were in last year in the play-in part. They were in last year. They were in last year in the play-in round. This year in the play-in round, they lost to the New York Islanders, who then would go on to play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that would be something right there. The Panthers have made some off-season moves this year that'll add depth, physicality, and speed to their group. New manager Bill Zito has started to shift their identity on paper into a tougher group, which should help them run deeper in the playoffs. And as you guys have seen now, that's what the Lightning did. They went out and added Pat Maroon. They went out and added, trying to think here, who the other guys, Blake Gaudreau and guys like that. Blake Coleman and Gaudreau as well. Those guys were the toughness that got the Lightning, to the final, to get them to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, is that what it is? The Capitals brought a hard physical game to the playoffs when they won in 2018. The Blues followed the same recipe when they won in 2019. So, and the Lightning did the same thing, a little bit different road to their Stanley Cup this year in 2020. So, if you look at it, guys, you've got the Stanley Cup champions, the Lightning, the President's Trophy winning team, the Boston Bruins, and the young, hungry Toronto Maple Leafs, who are in desperate need of a playoff series victory. The Canadiens, who showed a league that there's no pushover by defeating the Pittsburgh Penguins in the play-in series. The Buffalo Sabres, with a pissed-off Jack Eichel, who's looking for a sniff of some playoff action, and the last two rebuilding teams in the Red Wings and Ottawa Senators. So those are those right there. they're saying that the Panthers guys could be a wild card team next year. We will have to see how that goes. Um, I can't see if they had some toughness during the offseason because, you go down the list, guys. You go down there, Boston's going to be back. The thing with the Boston Bruins is they're going to get a little bit older. The Lightning have salary cap issues. They have to make some moves to get down below the salary cap. The Buffalo Sabres have a pissed-off all-star in Jack Eichel who wants to get to the playoffs and is tired of losing, is tired of ownership not surrounding himself with a winning brand. The Canadians, again, still prove that, being the underdog, is what it is. Florida got into there as well. And then the two rebuilding teams, of course, are Ottawa and then, of course, the Detroit Red Wings, which, again, Steve Yzerman's got his hands full with trying to get that team back to where it could be. So, again, if they can add some toughness and they can add some defense, I can't see why the Panthers cannot be right there when it's all said and done. Now, they have been quiet since the first day of free agency. So they haven't really made any big trades quite yet. Florida, with 19%, still it has about $10 million left in cap space. So there you go with that. They are in the cap. They have a lot of money to move. So again, we'll have to see. If Florida is done, Zito's first offseason in Brevard County wasn't flashy, but the supporting pieces were overhauled enough to give the Panthers a different identity for this upcoming season. So again, guys, just like everything else, we'll have to wait and see what Florida really does. And as I've said a couple times on the show, hockey here in Florida obviously does work. Okay, if it didn't work, then you would have that issue. But to me, it does work. And the funny thing is that it does work. But the problem is, besides the regular season, when the Lightning and Panthers play, there is nothing else. Here's the thing. The Lightning and the Panthers need to play in the playoffs to have some kind of in-state rivalry with each other. So what is going on with the Lightning? So here we are. The Lightning did reach the mountaintop. They did win the Stanley Cup. Long since passed, but Pat Maroon, again, will be back. The salary cap issues are plaguing the Lightning and have long been discussed. In fact, it seems like it has been a rolling conversation for the last 2 or 3 off seasons. Things do seem to be coming to a head a bit this season. Where do the Lightning stand as an organization in early September? Simply put, they're in a holding pattern. The only headline we've seen in regards to the roster is the re-signing of Maroon and Luke Schenn were finalized. That's it. No trades. Heck, there hasn't even been rumors of trades out of the media. Things have just been at a standstill at this point. Barring any moves made earlier today, according to Cap Friendly, their current cap hit is projected to be $78 million. That puts them an estimated $2.895 million under the $81,500,000 cap for the upcoming season. That's in good sense. They could actually participate in the upcoming season should it begin anytime soon. But here are the people that they need to get re-signed. Cirelli, Chernak, Sergachev, Joseph, Volkov, and Massine agreeing to split less than $3 million is highly unlikely. Let's be clear, it's not happening. A small silver lining has not been have signed all 6. Mawson is currently signed with the KHL and is the only unsigned RFA that is eligible for arbitration here. So he would be, even if those Volkov does not choose to resign, Joseph likely would take the minimum raise offer. The likely names to be moved haven't been changed much as Tyler Johnson, Alex Gorn, and maybe Yanni Gourde. I could definitely, guys, as I mentioned before, could see them definitely, Johnson and Gorn definitely could be moved. I don't see Yanni Gourde because of Gaudreau and Coleman with that line last year. I just don't see that happening. Sadly, it isn't a video game where you can just find a team that has available cap space and make a swap. There are some factors that may be throwing a monkey wrench in Julian Breezewell's best laid plans. The NHL is still holding on an idea of a 82-game season. No one wants to bail the Lightning out. Why would you want to bail out the champions? Someone trading for Tyler Johnson most likely be upgrading their middle six depth at worst and adding a top line forward as their best. There's a soft free agent market. The coast cost of trading Tyler Johnson went down. Teams are wrapping up their own affairs. Could be one of the reasons why. So there you go, guys. They're still in a standstill, but they're going to have to do something if they're going to try to get all those guys back. They have to do something. Julian Breezewell has to do something. Here are some of the untouchable prospects. Now, again, here we are again with that. Cal Foote is the Lightning's lone untouchable. Now, he's a defenseman who, if Sergachev and Chernak both go, he would be the one that would come up and take one of those positions. But you do have names like Alex Bear-Boulay, Mitchell Stevens, Taylor Radish, and Alexander Volkov are all in position to make a case for starting time as soon as the next season. So those guys could also be moving up, could be as well. Again, it's funny that, somebody who is a huge Lightning fan as much as I am, I asked that question as soon as we won the Stanley Cup. Like, what was going to happen? What was going to happen when the season was over and we had to bring all these guys back? And that has yet to be answered. And that has yet to be answered. So, again, Julian Breezewell will have to start to try to make some moves here very, very soon once the season is, once there is a starting date, that free agency and then the draft as well. So we're going to have to wait and see. Back, guys, October 26, 1997, obviously 23 years ago on that day, the Marlins beat the Cleveland Indians in the 1997 World Series on Edgar Rentería's 11th inning walk-off single. It's a painful memory for Cleveland fans. This was the first of two World Series for the Miami Marlins. Well, actually, they were the Florida Marlins back then, but they are the Miami Marlins right now. Tied 2-2 in the bottom of the inning. Edgar Rentería delivered the game-winning base hit off of Charles Nagy with 2 outs and the bases loaded, scoring Craig Counsell to win the franchise's first ever World Series title. The Marlins would go on to win the World Series again in 2003 against the New York Yankees. Meanwhile, the Tribe returned back to the World Series in 2016 against the Chicago Cubs, following in 7 games again, continuing a title drought of 68 years, which is now 72 and is the longest currently in Major League Baseball. This is official news. Marlins farm system changes. There are 3 AAA teams, San Antonio, Fresno, Wichita, have been designated to move from AAA to AA Texas League. Taking their place will be St. Paul, where the Twins could affiliate with St. Paul Saints, Sugar Land, and Jacksonville, which will become Miami Marlins' top affiliate. Miami is one of the winners in the realignment with a AAA affiliate just up the coast, and the addition of Pensacola as a AA affiliate. So again, guys, with that, pretty cool that they're going to get possibly Jacksonville and Pensacola being in Miami. That's not very far away. Jacksonville is, but Pensacola is not. The Pensacola Blue Wahoons were a Twins affiliate in 2019, but spent most of the last decade developing Reds players. Combining Jacksonville and Pensacola with Class A advanced Jupiter, the Marlins would have at least their top 3 affiliates within the state of Florida. That's pretty cool. So that will be pretty cool if the Marlins did that. All right, guys, let's talk now about the American League champion Tampa Bay Rays. And this is what the 40-man roster looked like. This is all before any moves have happened. So let's take a look and list the 40 names that include 21 pitchers, a single catcher, 10 infielders, and 7 outfielders. It would be Jose Alvarado, Nick Anderson, Jalen Beeks, Diego Castillo, Yanni Chirinos, John Curtis, Peter Fairbanks, Josh Fleming, Edgar Garcia, Tyler Glasnow, Brent Honeywell, Shane McClanahan, Brendan McKay, Colin Bush, Cody Reed, Trevor Richards, Ryan Sheriff, Aaron Seigert, Blake Snell, Brian Thompson, Ryan Yarborough, Ronaldo Hernandez, Willie Adames, Mike Brasso, Bado Bajan, G-Man Choi, Yanni Diaz, Brandon Lau, Nate Lowe, Brandon O'Grady, Kevin Prado, Joey Wendell, Randy Arozarena, Kevin Kiermaier, Manuel Margot, Austin Meadows, Brent Phillips, Hunter Renfro, and Yoshi Suzugo. The biggest names on the list would be shortstop Wander DeFranco, baseball's top prospect, 3 years running. So what moves now will the Rays make to get over the hump that they failed to get past the Dodgers this year during the World Series? And Randy Rosarena's story will become a movie. This is by Mark Tompkins of St. Pete, Tampa Bay Times. Sudden emergence as a record-smashing postseason star for the Rays seems likely something out of a movie. Now his story will get a Hollywood treatment. Wonder Film Media announced the plans for an Arozarena biopic slated to be filmed after next season and released in theaters in the fall of 2022 or the spring of 2023. Arozarena's agent, Abel Guerra, of the ISA firm, has reached out to Saxon through a mutual friend months ago, pitching the idea of a movie on Arozarena's experience. So, guys, he is going to have a movie. That's pretty cool. Thanks to all the Rays fans for your support this season and during the playoffs. We didn't get to the ultimate goal, but I'm proud of what we achieved together. This was an incredible experience with a special group. We will return strong next year with the grace of God. That was Randy Arozarena after the Rays, of course, lost in Game 6 to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series. But again, that's pretty cool, guys. That they're gonna have a movie based off of him. As I get to the middle, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Let's go ahead, guys, now as we jump in, as we've now talked about basketball, we talked hockey, we talked baseball. So now, guys, I'm going to get into football as we get more and more closer to the bowl games for college football. The Miami Hurricanes pulled off of another one of those excellent come-from-behind wins on Friday night. They won 44-41 over the NC State. The victory wasn't pretty, but the bottom line is the Hurricanes moved to 6-1 and continue to play meaningful games in the month of November. The Hurricanes have 4 remaining games on the schedule to navigate for the rest of the 2020 season, and that would be at Virginia Tech, at Wake Forest, and home against Georgia Tech and North Carolina. How does the ESPN Power Index project Miami's remaining schedule? Here is how they have it projected, guys, on how they will do this. First of all, this upcoming Saturday, the 14th, they have them playing again at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. This is a projected by ESPN's rankings as a loss. Now, the Hokies are currently 4-3 on the season. Virginia Tech lost to Liberty. What in the world? Sorry, guys. My screen is malfunctioning here. Lost Liberty over the weekend, 38-35. They did drop 6 spots in the FBA rankings. The Hokies are without key starters and running back Khalif Herbert and tight end James Mitchell due to injury. Miami's win probability has improved since that result, but the ESPN analytics still views Virginia Tech as a favorite. The identity of a Virginia Tech team is built around a strong rushing attack. The Hokies are averaging 277 yards per game on the ground. So that will be a test for the Miami Hurricane defense. That definitely will be something that they're going to have to look at and try to counteract. The next game, guys, would be against Georgia Tech the following week on the 21st. Currently, the Yellow Jackets are 2-5. This is projected to be a Hurricanes win. Georgia Tech had a bye week this weekend to rest up. The FBI views Miami as a significant favorite in this game. 2 weeks ago, Georgia Tech suffered a 31-13 loss to Notre Dame over the weekend. The Jackets have turned to somewhat of a youth movement during the early stages of Jeff Collins' era, with true freshman quarterback Jeff Sims leading the offense. Tech has lost 3 straight games to teams like Clemson, Boston College, and Notre Dame. The Yellow Jackets have secured wins over FSU and Louisville. And next up for the Tech or Yellow Jackets is Pittsburgh. The next game, guys, will be on the 28th of November. That's at Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons are currently 4-2. They have this predicted as a Miami win. At this point, it would be 8-2. This is going to be an interesting road test for Miami. Wake Forest is only 6 spots below them in the rankings. The more important that the FBI receives on Wake Forest, the more the analytic, like the Demon Deacons, is a top 40 caliber team. The Demon Deacons had a bye week over the weekend and are coming off a win over Syracuse, and a week before they earned a victory over Tech after losing the first 2 games of the season to Clemson and NC State. Wake Forest has ripped off 4 straight wins over Campbell, Virginia Tech, and Syracuse. The Hurricanes then, guys, will close out the season on December 5th against the North Carolina Tar Heels, who are currently 5-2, but the FBI has this projected as a win. So what that means, guys, is ESPN has projected the Hurricanes in their last 4 games of the season to go 3-1 in the remaining 4. They would finish the season, guys, 9-2. So that would be interesting to see how Manny Diaz would come out. That would be pretty much a good season for Miami. And let's just say that they don't lose to Virginia Tech this upcoming Saturday, and they go 10-1. That would be something to see, them be 10-1. And I don't know where they fall, guys, in the ACC championship game, because you have Notre Dame and you have Clemson, who played each other over the weekend. If you guys did not catch that game, that was a classic at the end of the game with Notre Dame winning in double overtime. So, again, we'll have to see how that goes. Again, if they can beat Virginia Tech, the other 3 games, they have them marked down over Wake, over North Carolina, and over Georgia Tech. Could finish the season 9-2. They can very much finish the season 10-1. So we'll have to wait and see how they have Miami projected to win there. Now, again, they did move back up in the AP poll back to number 9. After their win on Friday, they are 6-1 overall, 5-1 in the ACC. They've won 3 consecutive games, moving to 3rd place ACC after overcoming. So they're now number 3 behind Notre Dame and, of course, Clemson as well. So they did move up, guys, to number 9. The 2 teams will play in the ACC championship game in Charlotte on December 19th. Miami is one of the 3 ranked teams in the ACC, which includes number 2 Notre Dame and number 4 Clemson. And then here we are, guys. We'll go ahead and move on to another ACC team, someone that Miami beat earlier this year, and that will be the Florida State Seminoles. FSU is now in full-on rebuild mode after their 41-17 loss to the Pittsburgh Panthers over the weekend. Here's a key point. The Seminoles are still in the beginning stages of a rebuild. It's too early to tell if Mike Norvell is the right guy to form this solid foundation and then build it up. I think he can be, truly I do, because history is often the best indicator of success of failure. His track record in Memphis isn't something I can ignore. So I had a talk with an FSU fan earlier in the year, and this is something that we all talked about. And my friend Jordan, who I talked about with the Lightning when I did my Walker report, and that night I did the Game 6 watch party for the Stanley Cup. We had a talk during my broadcast of the game. We talked about how it would be very difficult if you fire Mike Norvell, because what you're doing now is you're telling whoever wants to be a coach it's going to be a tough sled. You cannot do that to that. You're going to have to give Norvell at least 2 or 3 years before that can happen. Obviously, we knew it wasn't going to be good in the first year. It's always tough for a first-year head coach. Ask USF. Now, I'm not comparing USF to FSU by any means of the imagination, but look at what happened. I'll talk about USF later on down the line here in the next few minutes or so. But what I'm saying is, look at first-year coaches when you don't have the guys that you want in your system. You have the last guys, players there. So you got to give them some time. I don't think you put Norvell on the hot seat this first year. I think you wait, you give him another year or either maybe another 2 years. And if he's still doing this, when we get into 2022 after the 2022 season, then you might want to cut ties with him and stuff like that. But at this point, no. No. Yes, it's been ugly in Tallahassee, no doubt about that. But again, coming in, it's tough sledding for Florida State. The problem for a long time has been the offensive line. They have struggled with the quarterback position. They think they've got that finally done pat, but then again, it's still when you don't have an offensive line, guys. You can have a Hall of Fame quarterback back there. You ain't gonna do nothing. So again, it was tough. FSU did play 3 quarterbacks. James Blackman, who's brought in confusingly for his experience after Jordan Travis did not return the second half due to an injury, only to be benched. So they benched him. So there you go. So again, it was not a pretty sight for Norvell. Here's what he said after the loss. I believe in these guys. I believe in their development. I believe in where we're going to go. Florida State is now 2-5 after their third 20-point loss this season. FSU fell to Pitt 41-17 at Doak Campbell Stadium. FSU was outscored 38-3 over the last 50 minutes of the game. Pitt took advantage of FSU's injuries itself, inflicted mistakes through the entire night. Florida State still has 4 games left in the season. Here's what head coach Mike Norvell had to say. Got kind of overwhelmed with our lack of production in the defensive unit. Did a good job with our pressure. We weren't able to get anything going in the second half of the way they were attacking us. Our effort level, I thought our guys continued to fight. I was really pleased with our defense on the goal line stand. On Jordan Travis, I thought Jordan was playing well. We had some negative plays that showed up. That was a challenge. We knew we needed to stay out long down and distance. We kept working into our consistency. On the loss of Devontae Taylor, Devontae is our captain up front. He's been such a consistent player for us. He's great with communication when he went down and continued to thrust youth into the game. Our decision to go with Justin Blackman. Jordan was getting evaluated through halftime, and we found out he wasn't going to be available. We wouldn't change just because of his experience and looking for a spark. So again, guys, there is some of the stuff that was said. Now, guys, they will be playing against NC State, who just had a very, very close game with Miami, but lost it in the end on Friday night. NC State will have a short week because remember now they played Friday. I'm sorry, I apologize. They won't. They'll have a longer week. But it's NC State is not a bad football team, as you saw if you watched the Hurricane game on Monday night. I can see this being a very big issue for Florida State. Maybe they can get some kind of positivity out of the game against Pitt to somehow beat NC State. I think it's going to be very, very tough for FSU to beat the Wolfpack this upcoming week. So, guys, I will go on now, move on to the Florida Gators, and I can say this. I have a good buddy. I don't know if he's watching this show or not. My good buddy Corey is a big, big Georgia Bulldog fan. And for the last 3 years, this is year number 4, we have met to watch the Florida-Georgia game locally at a Buffalo Wild Wings. This was the first year of the 4 that I have been able to walk out of the bar with a smile on my face after the Gators beat the Bulldogs. This was not very good, guys, because I was very concerned because the Gators were down 14-0 in a big hurry. The first play of scrimmage was a 75-yard run by Georgia. And I sat there and said, I don't know about this game. And Corey said, just sit here. There's a lot of football left. And then sooner or later, the Gators were able to turn it around. The Gators' only loss so far, guys, came while I was on vacation at Texas A&M, in which they fumbled in the final minutes. Should have been favored by at least 10 points. Their remaining games seemingly destined for a meeting with Alabama in the SEC championship game that could eclipse all kinds of offensive records. Kyle Trask carved through what was the 15th ranked defense in the nation, hitting the 300-yard mark by halftime. Florida rolled up 571 yards of offense. One-third of it basically was on one route, the wheel route, which UGA coach Kirby Smart would surely be seeing in his nightmares. So there you go with that, guys. That was a big win. Obviously, the rankings have come out. Florida moved from number 8 to number 5. They replaced Georgia at that position there as well. So here are some of the reactions for the 44-28 win over Georgia this past week in Atlanta. Again, looks like it will be Alabama and Florida playing for the SEC championship game. Through the first 9 weeks, Alabama, Clemson, Florida, and Ohio State are all ranked in the top 10 nationally in points per drive. So, again, it's going to be something to see. But, again, look at Texas A&M. They are the only ones that have knocked off Florida so far this year. Maybe, just maybe for all the SEC people out there, we could see that. Here's something that could come up. Hugh Freeze is coaching the SEC in 2021. I think Freeze is heading to an SEC program next season. Which one? South Carolina is a sub-500 team after its loss to Texas A&M when Tennessee fired Jeremy Pruitt. So let's see how that goes. Now the Gators will go. They play Arkansas at the Swamp this Saturday. Arkansas has been a good football team, one of those surprise teams. Florida cannot take them lightly by any means of the imagination, because if they do, then you put Georgia right back in. Georgia then would be somewhat to come back and be in the thick of it again in the SEC. But I don't think Florida will have any problem with Arkansas by any means of the imagination whatsoever. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and move to the UCF Golden Knights. Now, there were players that were dismissed by Josh Heupel. If you did not hear what happened, there were players that were caught with, I believe, a rifle. Guess what? Josh Heupel did the right thing. He dismissed the players that were involved in that. His decision last week was one of the worst days of coaching, adding those who were dismissed to not meet the expectations put forth by my program. When you're part of this program, for all of us, there's a standard and expectations for all of us have to meet, and they do not meet those. There are consequences to those, Heupel said during a video conference with reporters. For a few young men, they are no longer will be representing us on the field. It hurts if some of our players won't have the opportunity to continue to do what they love to do here and represent us. It hurts coaches and it hurts players. It's our family and it's difficult. Not a good day to have those conversations. Worst day as a coach. So here are the people, guys, that were dismissed. There are 4 players: defensive end, Randy Charlton, defensive tackle, Kenyon Turner, linebacker, Eric Mitchell, and defensive back Antoine Collier were all pulled over by UCF police in a car on Gemini Boulevard near Lieber Drive after officers saw it racing another car and running a red light. We identified Collier as the driver and Mitchell and defensive backs Aaron Robinson and Brandon Moore as passengers. Officers reported they smelled cannabis inside the car and were searching the car when they found a backpack on a passenger side floorboard with a loaded AR-15 semi-automatic rifle with a magazine inserted and a Glock pistol with an extended magazine. Mitchell had a valid concealed carry license. and the firearms were placed in the trunk of the car. Collier said he had a third gun under his driver's seat. He told the police he also had a concealed carry license, but officers could not confirm it existed. So those are the 4 guys that have been dismissed from UCF's team. Again, I'm sure that they've apologized, but now they will be playing Temple this upcoming Saturday, and Temple beat USF earlier this season at home in Philadelphia. Now, UCF did ink a deal with FBC Mortgage to sponsor the Bounce House. So they now have a sponsor. It's an Orlando-based mortgage company and will be the new sponsor for the UCF Athletics moving forward. Again, they do have a game against Temple this upcoming Saturday. And the way that UCF has been playing, even though the 2 losses that they've had this year have been to Memphis and to Tulsa, Temple could give them a little bit of a run. I will be honest with you. Now we'll get into guys to USF. And again, yours truly was sitting in his car listening to the game on the radio when I got to Buffalo Wild Wings. The USF Bulls were up 33-17 with just over 3 minutes left in the game. And I said, you know what? I can't wait. I'm going to be coming on Bullseye tomorrow night, on a Tuesday night, to talk about a win. It's going to be great to talk about a win. I spoke too early. I hate that I did that. Hopefully I didn't jinx them. But they would go on to lose. Memphis would score 2 touchdowns and win 34-33. And again, this was a game, guys. I wrote a short article for Crew Life about my game review, and I wrote a 3 studs for iRock Media. If you want to head on over to my Facebook page, both those articles are available on the Sunshine State Sports Jabber page and the Walker Report page as well. Anyone else that's out there that follows in other groups, it's also been posted there as well. This was something different because this was not the game that USF made a ton of mistakes. They did not. They didn't turn the ball over. They had 3 touchdowns, 1 a pick 6. Noah Johnson threw 2 touchdown passes. This was not a typical game that you could come and say, oh, this is USF. They made bonehead mistakes and they lost the game by that. Sorry, I can't. I'm happy to report that did not happen. It just happened to be that this game reminded me a lot of the game last year against Cincinnati, where the Bulls were leading the entire football game, and on the very last play of the game, they lost, and this was the case also because the extra point was what sealed the deal for the Memphis Tigers. Now, the Bulls have now lost 6 in a row, their worst skid since 2018. And again, we can all remember what happened in 2018. They lost 6 in a row to end the season after going 7-0 to start it. Now, Jeff Scott was not happy with the outcome, but this was by far USF's best game of the year, and I will admit that is so correct. This was by far the best game. They played 3.5 quarters, guys, just to not finish the 4th. They didn't look like a 1-5 team in this game at all, and it's unfortunate, but in the end of the day, Brady White was the difference. He was 30 for 50 for 437 yards and 4 touchdown passes. The one thing was, again, the pick 6 that he had. It's just the fact of the matter is the defense just could not slow them down in the end. Right now, the Bulls are 1-6, 0-5 in the conference. They were limited at cornerback with Ben Knox unavailable, and Scott said that hurt them late. The final touchdown drive for Memphis covered 72 and 76 yards, respectively. See, that right there, guys, will tell you right there. This basically, guys, how I look at it is this is one of those things, one of the games that And if you're winning, you win these games. The good thing was you had Spencer Schrader, the kicker, was 4 for 4 on field goals from 41, 46, 47 to 49 yards, respectively. It's amazing. Joyner's 75-yard touchdown pass to Kelly Joyner in the second quarter was his longest throw of the season, besting his 36-yard pass at Notre Dame on September 19th. His 217 passing yards also bested 150 yards against Tulsa the week before the last week's bye. So once again, guys, this was, again, I wish that I could sit here and tell you that it was a mistake and that's why they lost by 1 point. This was by far the best game that the Bulls have played all season long. They led a majority of the football game. And unfortunately, in the end, it ended up being not that way. And it's unfortunate. It really is. Unfortunately, it really is. So maybe, just maybe, USF, they play at Houston. This is their last road game as they finish up with 2 home games to end the season. Navy is the first, and UCF is the second on Black Friday. Yours truly hopes to be at both the Navy and UCF game. Again, guys, I never would have thought in my mind sitting here talking right now that I would be going to any USF games when COVID started back in March. I never in my mind would think I'd be going to any, and I've been to 2 so far, and hope that I can go to a total of 4 by the end of the season. I'm hoping UCF can bounce back. I am going to be on Bullseye tomorrow night with Larry Frank. We're going to be interviewing one of the basketball players from the past when USF basketball was great. I have also been in contact with USF's rugby team that could also be coming on our show, on our Tuesday show in the future. So look out for that on Bullseye. But again, guys, I won't be talking anything negative about USF tomorrow night. Not like I would have, if they would have been blown out. I think me and Larry both thought they were going to get blown out, and it didn't happen that way. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump to the NFL. And let's start in Jacksonville. Jake Luton gave the Jaguars a spark, but did he earn the quarterback job? 6th-round pick Jake Luton provided a definite spark in a late-game surge that potentially signaled to the end of Minshew mania in Jacksonville. Luton nearly rallied the Jaguars to tie Houston late at TIAA Bank Field. 2-point conversion was passed with 1:49 left. Played a blitz and wide receiver DJ Chalk, and they lost the game 27-25. The Jaguars' 7th consecutive loss, but the closest they've come to a victory since the season opener. They did that with a quarterback who hasn't been active this season until Sunday when he got the start because Gardner Minshew was out with a thumb injury. So there you go with that. Luton went 26 for 38 for 304 yards and a touchdown with 1 pick. He also ran. It could have been a game-tying touchdown, finishing with a spin move against cornerback Tayshaun crossing near the goal line. So again, guys, there was just like USF, the Jaguars had a promising game in which they just lost it in the end. Now again, they fall to 1-7 coming into the game. Both the Texans and the Jaguars are both 1-6. So now Houston moves to 2-6, but I've heard today through the grapevine that possibly they could be moving J.J. Watt because the team is going through shambles. Jake Luton could be the starting quarterback over Minshew, who's still nursing an injury. We'll have to wait and see what goes on with the Jaguars moving forward. Again, now the schedule does not get much easier for them as they will have Aaron Rodgers and the Packers next up on their schedule, and that is going to be one tough outing for Jacksonville, who does not have a defense as well as the Bucs did when they beat Green Bay. So that's going to be a tough sledding for Jacksonville this week against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Jaguar fans out there, I wish you the best of luck against Green Bay and against that football team. The next, again, the Miami Dolphins. And Tua Tagovailoa, again, is 2-0 as a starter. He was 12 for 22 for 93 yards and a touchdown with no interceptions in a 28-17 victory. Miami beat the Arizona Cardinals, outdueled. They won 34-31. Excuse me, outdueled Kyler Murray. That could be something that we could see in the future, guys, between Tua and Kyler Murray, two young quarterbacks that are, very, very similar with run. They throw the ball very, very well. So, like I said, it's very interesting. Now Tua is 2-0. The Dolphins are 5-2 now, which is kind of weird because again, this is the first time in a while that Miami now they So there you go. Here are 5 players, guys, that stood out outside of Tua in the game: Jason Sanders, Emmanuel Obala, Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and Jerome Baker are all the ones who kind of stood out for the Miami Dolphins with their win over the Cardinals 34-31. So again, guys, this is something that, as you see, can be, start of something for the Miami Dolphins. Now they will be playing the Los Angeles Chargers, who lost another heartbreaker this weekend to the Las Vegas Raiders. So, the Dolphins have a good chance. That's Justin Hubert against Tua. They were both in the draft together. So that will be interesting to see how that goes. And again, I'll do it, guys. I'll go close out with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys, who, had a very, very rough outing last night against the Saints, losing 31-3. Tom Brady had threw 3 interceptions in this game. Sorry, 38-3. I apologize. Tampa Bay seems to have they just cannot, they just have issues with it. And by the way, Jameis Winston was in the game. Their former quarterback came into the game late in the game. At the end when they were up big. I wrote an article, 3 studs for this one, for that, and I picked Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, and Alvin Kamara as my picks. So once again, guys, this is one of Brady's worst losses in his career. Also, too, the Buccaneers break an NFL record for rushing fatality. This is the first time the Bucs had a total of 8 yards at home on 5 carries. That is the worst ever in the NFL. 8 yards on 9 carries. Ronald Jones had 3 for 9. Leonard Fournette had 1 carry for no yards. Blaine Gabbert had 1 carry for -1 yards. 8 yards is the lowest carries in a game with 6. That would have actually been done 4 times in a twist of fate. Tom Brady is also involved in one of those games. Now the Bucs will have to rebound, guys, to play the Carolina Panthers this upcoming Sunday. So we'll have to wait and see on that if they can rebound. It just seems like the 2 games that they played against the Saints this year have not been good. Week 1 was a lot closer than it was now. But on the flip side of it, last night was, you could kind of say was kind of a wake. Maybe it was a wake up for them, Maybe it was one of those games, they're still 6-3. They haven't had their bye week yet. So again, we'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down and if they can rebound against Carolina. Carolina, does now have Christian McCaffrey back. They played yesterday, and they came close to beating Kansas City. So that's who the Bucs play later on during the season as well. They welcome Patrick Mahomes and company to Raymond James Stadium. But again, we'll see how if the Bucks bounce back against Carolina. It was a very, very rough outing for the entire team. Don't put the blame on Tom Brady. Don't put the blame on the offense. It was a whole team effort that um, did not come out well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did not come out well for Tampa Bay. So they'll rebound against Carolina. I can very much say that is a guarantee that they will rebound, because it seems like when Tom gets blown out, he gets pissed off and goes off in the next game. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop my show here. Again, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and eat-seat delivery. How do you place your order? I am also, again, sponsored by B&B Graphics, their group page on Facebook. Search for them at B&B Graphics and more. They customize, guys, in all kinds of tumblers and sports, video games, anything you like. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, and vinyls. And yes, they have the holiday stuff coming up, guys. Santa cookie plates, milk for Santa, food for reindeer plates as well. Guys, mention my name and you get 10% off your order by just mentioning my name. The person you want to get in contact with is Rebecca. There's two ways you can place an order, either by contacting them on Facebook Messenger at B&B Graphics and more, or you can email them, guys, at bnbgraphicsandmore@gmail.com. Again, that website is bnbgraphicsandmore@gmail.com. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end my show. I want to thank everyone who has popped in here on this Monday night. Good way to start your week. But thank you, as always, for even if you were in here just for a second. Before I go, as I always do when I sign off, is I want to thank the doctors, nurses, all the essential workers who have worked through the pandemic. You guys are the true heroes for the last 8 months that we've had. I saw something on the news today that was positive, that Pfizer says that the vaccine that is coming out is 90% effective to cure the coronavirus. Guys, that is major news and moving in to possibly having a normal, some kind of new normal 2021. That's great news. Let's see how what happens with that. I also, again, as we are 2 days shy of Veterans Day, also always give a shout out to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us. Thank you for your sacrifices. I cannot be here being an idiot in front of this microphone 3 days a week if it was not for you. So thank you very much, guys, for that. Also to our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics as well. Thank you for keeping us safe domestically. Guys, thank you for coming into the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of NGSC Sports. Again, remember the website, ngscsports.com, for all your current sports content. But guys, until next week, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to have my sponsor, Arena Eats app, come on here and do a 5-minute thing. I'm going to have them come on. Probably set that up for next week. But we'll go ahead and see what happens with that. But again, guys, thank you so much. I love all of you. And until next Monday, here on the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, I am your host, the Sportster Brad Walker. I'll be on tomorrow night with my man Larry Frank on Bullseye, and you can catch me on the Revived Walker Report with my man Adam and Lewis. We will be going on there, as I have made that an open spectrum. That show was rolling on Thursday night last week, so I'm looking forward to having those guys back next week, this upcoming Thursday. But until then, guys, everyone stay safe, wear your mask, follow all the rules out there. Until next Monday, I again love every one of you. Peace.